Hey, what is up, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Griefdrums, and today we're going to be taking a look at some of the ways you can use Thermite that you may not know about. Okay, so as we all know, Thermite is the staple of any team, isn't it? I mean, let's be real, Thermite and Thatcher are normally the backbones of most decent teams, and you don't always need them, but they're nice to have. If Thatcher's not banned, taking him can make things so much easier, and Thermite, whilst Hibana is very, very good at getting things like hatches and stuff, if they are electrified, Kaided, you need to get rid of that first. Thermite, however, he has a few tips and tricks that you can use which allow you to get around the problems that other operators may face. The key to it is just knowing how to use Thermite to be as effective as he can be. Anyone can take Thermite, anyone can go and get the main wall, but when these problems present themselves and your plan starts falling apart, your buck dies, your sledge dies, or any soft breach that you've got that may potentially facilitate getting rid of batteries is dead. If Maverick is banned or Thatcher is banned and you cannot get rid of any of these, electricity things, what do? How do you get around it? How do you as a Thermite player get around it? Are you just stuck waiting? Are you just, kind of reliant on your team? Or do you find other ways to get around it? Today, we're going to try and break down a few of the different things that you can do with Thermite and how you can facilitate getting into the site. My dog's making all sorts of weird noises under the desk, but hopefully that's not being picked up on the mic. You okay, mate? So when it comes to Thermite, obviously the main wall is 9 times out of 10 what you're going to be paying attention to. Not every site has a main wall that you need to get into. Now, what I mean by a main wall is, for example, on Canal, if you're attacking the server site upstairs, this wall right here is a main wall. There's a lot of sites, Clubhouse, Cash Room, Server Room, that has a main wall that you want to try and get through to pretty much cut the site in half. It stops defenders moving around and pretty much just gives you a really good way into the site. So if you saw my video on the Oregon rework, you will have seen that as Thermite, you can go ahead and get through this wall by coming upstairs and placing the exothermic charge at the top of the stairs right next to this wall just here. When you set it off, no matter whether it is electrified or not, this wall will then open, giving you cover to actually play from behind. You can vault into it. There's all sorts of things you can do with tricks like this. As I say, if it's electrified, very often you're going to struggle to get through walls like that. Well, this kind of negates that entire thing and allows you to get into the site no matter what. With that in mind, I wanted to go ahead and showcase a couple of other places on different maps that when all hope is lost and you think that you're completely screwed as Thermite and there's nothing you can do, I'm going to show you that's not the case. For the purposes of this, what we've gone ahead and done just to showcase this all in one round, we've gone ahead and reinforced one of the meeting walls and one of the kitchen walls. We're going to go ahead and showcase this because kitchen and dining are one site and kitchen and meeting are the other. So this wall could potentially benefit you opening it by moving upstairs. We're going to go ahead and go into the bunk main hall just through here. And if we go ahead, you can see the electricity actually coming through the floor slightly. But if we go ahead and place this down just here, by moving downstairs, then what you can do is you can hold a pretty nice line of sight from sort of the garage area. And then by popping that, you'll see that half this wall is open. It can be pretty handy, you never know. Sometimes when all hope is lost and you can't get in, this may facilitate you getting into that site or at least creating a good line of sight through the middle of it. When it comes to the meeting wall, this wall right here, there's not much you can do about it if you haven't got the Thatcher or the Maverick. Yes, if you can get control of this corridor over in the right, you can get around and actually look to see and get rid of it. And maybe if there's a Kaid hidden around there, you're going to expose a lot of your body. So when we go try and look at other alternative routes in, we can go outside. We can go up into the attic section, whether you go through the big tower or in through this window just here. But by pushing into the attic, there is a soft floor at the very back of it up against the wall. And what you can do is you can place the Thermite charge down there. And if we go downstairs and set that off, much like the other ones, we're going to get that half wall effect. And it's really handy for this particular one. Yes, you do need to get control of certain areas, but as you can see a lot of the site itself. You can see into the corridor on the right, and if you need to, you can vault straight in. So just very quickly, I just want to jump in. For those of you that don't know, I now have my very own merch store over on Teespring. The link for that is going to be down in the description below. You can pick up any merch, which really does help support the channel. I Am Deadbird created all of the designs for it, and you know what? He just outdid himself. They are so cool, and I'm so pleased with the work that he's done. Hopefully you'll pick something up. My dog's making noises again. What is that noise? What's... Mad. But if you do like the merch, please consider picking something up. I would love to start spreading the word of the channel even more. And I think this is a really good way to do it. The link for that is going to be down in the description below. All right, back to it. Next, we're heading on over to Canal. This is the kayak site downstairs on the west side. This, just inside of the trench, this wall just here is like a back door into the kayak site. It can be really, really handy to get it open. As you can see right here, it's electrified. So by coming upstairs through the reception into the archives, you will see this metal filing cabinet just here. If you go ahead and place down your thermite charge on the floor just next to the filing cabinet, you're going to easily be able to open that up and create the half wall that we've been using previously. And as you'll see, if I go and drop down in through the trench, you can just come in through here. You get a line of sight into it. You can vault in there and you are into the kayak site and the supply room, wherever you need to be. It's really handy, really cheeky. On the opposite side, over by the diving room, this wall just here, you can do exactly the same on this by going up into the radio room, and you'll see that there is another metal filing cabinet. It's almost as if they are there just to showcase where exactly you put these things. But yeah, you go ahead, chuck the thermite charge down, and as you push down the yellow stairs, this can really facilitate that push because it's going to move people away from that open wall. It's creating a line of sight, and it's cutting the site in half as you would on other maps like Clubhouse, or as we saw on Oregon. Just having half the wall open to protect the majority of your body is pretty handy. The initiation room on Theme Park, now that this map has been added into both the Pro League meta and ranked, we're starting to see more and more things get used for it. But as you can see, this wall has been reinforced from the bunks and it's been electrified. Now, 9 times out of 10, you're going to be stuck to get through there. You're going to need the Thatcher or something. But if you come into break from through that window, you come over to this wall just over here next to the fridge, place your thermite charge, and the second you go ahead and trigger it, it's not only going to blow up the wall on the right, but it also takes out a large section of the wall on the left through the reinforcement. And even though the electroclaw is still there, we're through, we're in the site. We've created a really easy entry point, or alternatively a way to hold from break room from a distance. You can hold all sorts of angles here. Now, we did discuss this. Obviously it works really well for getting in. There would be a good counter, and that's if you've got a spare reinforcement reinforcing this wall that I'm stood at right here, just here, and electrifying that as well with all three getting hit by Kaid's electroclaw. That will stop this from working. But until that meta moves forward, you could definitely try this as Thermite. Definitely give it a go. I personally am going to be using a third reinforcement and closing off all three of these and electrifying all three of them potentially, but you never know. I mean, as the meta moves and evolves and we start to see more in Pro League, we're going to see loads of different things come to the forefront. Maybe it's better to open this up and hold from bunks. Who knows? The penthouse on Coastline. This one's a bit risky because it involves you going out towards 90 into the potential line of sight of other people here. For some reason, I was getting electrified then. That's insane. But nevertheless, you can actually go ahead and place a thermite charge on this wall just here next to 90. And if you go ahead and set it off, it'll open up that wall despite it being electrified, giving you an easy run in. You can get the plant down, do whatever you need to do. I appreciate it's rare that people go penthouse anymore, but it can be a pretty good way in. When it comes to the hatches here, as you'll see, this is reinforced and electrified. Now, the biggest difficulty with this is you can't just go ahead and place the thermite charge on top of it. You'll take damage, and not only that, the exothermic charge will obviously just get destroyed. Now, this is a very old tip, but for those of you that don't know it, by coming over next to the hatch and placing the thermite charge next to it, it doesn't destroy it because it's on the wooden floor. And then by setting off that thermite charge, the surrounding explosion actually takes out the electrified hatch as well. Now, you can do this on any site in which the floor next to the hatch is soft. You can do it on the kitchen in Clubhouse. You can do it on Canal. There are all sorts of different places you can do it, and it doesn't even need to be that close, as you'll see. So this can be extremely beneficial for getting down into the site. Chalet is exactly the same. By coming up to the bedroom, as you'll see, this hatch is actually reinforced, and you'll be able to hear Kaid has just electrified it. But you can do exactly the same thing here, just by placing the thermite charge next to it, setting it off. You don't even need to worry about the fact that it's electrified. You don't have to get rid of it. Easy as that. The very final tip that I wanted to showcase today is going to be very, very quick. If this wall is electrified and you can't get to it, something along these lines, what you can do is you can actually place down the exothermic charge just next to the wall so that it's not hit. And then when you go ahead and set it off, you'll see that it blows out the bottom section of the wall, which allows you to both shoot through and get rid of any batteries or anything that may be lying there. Now, 9 times out of 10, you can't always crawl through because the reinforcement actually comes down a little bit further. Every now and then you get lucky, but I wouldn't put your hopes into it. However, being able to do this, shoot out bandit batteries and then open other sections of the wall can be extremely beneficial. So it's definitely handy to have in your skyrocket just in case. So the biggest thing with all of this that I want you to take away is I'm not necessarily just showing you the only spots that you can do this on. There are places all over every single map, or certainly the majority of maps, maybe not every single map. But nevertheless, these tips can be taken to different maps. You don't just have to look at the ones that I've showcased today. Have a look on different maps, have a move around, try stuff out, try and use Thermite in different ways. Don't think that because there's electricity on the wall, you can't do your job, because sometimes you can. Now, credit, if you are playing as Thermite, you want your team to assist. You don't want to have to go running in and try and open from, you know, a potentially dangerous area of the map. If they're trying to protect the room above, that's pretty risky. But nevertheless, if your team isn't really working and it's just not going your way and you need to find an alternative way in, don't think all hope is lost. There are other ways to do this. You don't just have to utilize these tricks. There are other ways you can do it by shooting down through the floor and creating holes, lines of sight, trying to get rid of any bandit batteries, mute jammers, Kaid electric claws. You can do it that way, or you can try stuff like this as well. I mean, the possibilities are quite literally endless for this game, and that's what I love about it. That is what keeps me coming back, despite all of the potential issues that it may have. What about you guys, though? Have you got any cool places that you can do this on, or any cool tricks that I should know for Thermite? If you have, maybe head on over to my Discord, or alternatively, let me know over on Twitter, and maybe we'll see it in a future video. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. Hopefully you learned something new. If you did, please consider hitting that thumbs up. If you don't already, make sure to subscribe for all things Rainbow Six. And until next time, ladies and gentlemen, stay reckless and relentless.